Everybody wants the result, but very few are willing to respect the habit that creates it. C. Talking is easy. Talking is comfortable. Talking gives you the illusion of progress without demanding any sacrifice. You can talk about your dreams, talk about your plans, talk about what you're going to do someday, and still stay exactly where you are. But winners don't live in someday. Winners live in today. They live in the discipline of showing up when nobody is watching, when nobody is clapping, when nobody even knows their name. There is a habit that separates the people who win from the people who talk, and it has nothing to do with talent, luck, or motivation. It has everything to do with what you do repeatedly when excuses feel reasonable. Because talkers wait to feel ready. They wait to feel inspired. They wait for conditions to be perfect. Winners understand something different. They understand that readiness is built through action, not thought. They move first and confidence follows. Winners don't announce their moves. They don't need to explain themselves to the world. They let their routine speak. They let their work make the noise. While others are busy explaining why it's hard, winners are quietly doing the hard thing anyway. They understand that success doesn't come from intensity once in a while, but from consistency every single day. This habit isn't flashy. It won't get you applause early on. In fact, it will often make you feel lonely, misunderstood, even invisible. But that's the price of separation. Because the moment you choose discipline over comfort, action over excuses, and consistency over emotion, you step into a different category of human being. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Your habits already tell the story of who you are becoming, not your words, not your intentions, not your goals, your habits. Every single day, you are voting for the person you will be tomorrow. And sooner or later, the results will expose who was serious and who was just talking. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they keep waiting for the perfect mood, waiting for confidence, waiting for the right time. Let me tell you something straight. Winners don't wait. Winners move. While others are talking about what they're going to do, winners are already doing it. Imperfectly, quietly, consistently. That's the first real separator. Talk feels productive, but action is the only thing that changes reality. Here's the hard truth nobody likes hearing. Talkers love potential. Winners love progress. Talkers rehearse their dreams out loud. Winners rehearse their discipline in silence. You can talk about waking up early, but the alarm doesn't care about your intentions. You can talk about changing your life, but your habits don't respond to motivation. Winners understand this early. They don't need to feel inspired to show up. They show up first, and inspiration follows later. This is why consistency beats intensity every single time. Anyone can go hard for one day. Anyone can make a speech about success. Anyone can post quotes. But winners are built in the boring moments when nobody is watching, when nothing exciting is happening, when quitting feels logical. That's when action matters most. That's when the habit is formed. That's when separation happens. Talkers often sound confident, but confidence without action is fragile. Winners might doubt themselves, but their discipline keeps them moving forward anyway. They don't negotiate with their comfort. They don't wait for permission. They understand that momentum comes from motion, not mindset. One small action today is more powerful than 1,000 perfect plans tomorrow. And listen closely, this isn't about being loud. It's about being reliable. Winners don't announce their next move. They let results do the talking. They understand that every day is a vote. Every action is a signal. Every excuse weakens identity, and every disciplined move strengthens it. Over time, those small choices compound, and suddenly people say, "You're lucky," without seeing the years of quiet action behind it. If this message is hitting you, that's not an accident. Pause for a second, let it sink in. And if you want more truth like this, truth that challenges you, not comforts you, show that support in a real way. Tap the like button so this message reaches someone who needs it, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what could be the mindset shift that changes your direction, because the habit that separates winners from talkers is simple, uncomfortable, and undefeated. Winners act first, and they let consistency speak for them. Let me start with something that might shake you a little. Your intentions don't define you, your habits do. You can intend to be great. You can intend to change your life. You can intend to become disciplined. But intention without repetition is just imagination. The world doesn't reward what you plan. It responds to what you practice. And this is where most people get exposed. See, talkers fall in love with intention. They love saying, "I'm trying, I'm planning, I'm about to." But winners understand something deeper. They know that discipline isn't something you turn on when life feels good. Discipline is something you build until it becomes who you are. It stops being something you do and it becomes something you are. That's the real shift. That's when everything changes. At first, discipline feels forced. It feels heavy. It feels unnatural. You have to remind yourself. You have to push yourself. You have to argue with your emotions. But over time, something powerful happens. The habit starts shaping your identity. You stop asking, "Should I do this today?" Because that's just what you do now. You don't wake up debating. You wake up executing. This is why winners don't rely on motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Identity stays. When discipline becomes your identity, you don't need hype to show up. You don't need encouragement to stay consistent. You don't need validation to keep going. You move because not moving would feel wrong. You train because that's who you are. You prepare because that's your standard. Most people quit too early because they never stay disciplined long enough for it to become natural. They mistake discomfort as a sign they're doing something wrong, when in reality, discomfort is proof that the habit hasn't fully formed yet. Winners stay long enough for discipline to stop hurting and start holding them together. And here's the truth that separates levels. Your future isn't built by dramatic moments. It's built by small, repeated actions that no one applauds. Every disciplined choice is a brick. Every routine is a foundation. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you reinforce a new identity. Slowly, quietly, relentlessly. One day, people will say you're different. They'll say you're focused. They'll say you're consistent. They'll say you're disciplined. But what they won't see is the moment you stopped negotiating with your feelings and started honoring your habits. The moment discipline stopped being something you tried to do and became the person you decided to be day after day, choice after choice, action after action, until intention turned into identity an identity turned to a standard you refuse to break, even when it would be easier to quit, easier to delay, easier to talk instead of act. Because once discipline becomes who you are, there's no going back, only forward, only higher, only stronger, only real. Let me tell you something most people never realize until it's too late. Comfort is the most expensive addiction in the world. It doesn't destroy you loudly. It doesn't announce itself. It slowly negotiates with you, whispering, "Do it tomorrow, rest today, you deserve a break." And before you know it, years have passed, and the life you wanted is still waiting on the other side of your excuses. Winners don't wait for perfect conditions. They move while it's uncomfortable. They act while it's messy. They grow while it hurts. Because growth and comfort never live in the same house. The moment you choose comfort, progress moves out. The moment you choose pressure, progress moves in. And this is where the separation happens. Most people think discomfort is a sign they're failing. Winners know discomfort is proof they're stretching. Every time your heart beats faster, every time your mind says, stop, every time your body wants to quit, you're standing at the exact doorway where transformation begins. That doorway doesn't open for everyone. It only opens for those willing to stay a little longer than their fear wants them to. Pressure reveals truth. When life applies pressure, excuses disappear, masks fall off, pretending ends. That's why pressure scares people. It forces honesty. You find out what you're really made of when no one is clapping, when the result isn't guaranteed, when quitting would be easier and no one would blame you. That moment is sacred. That moment builds winners. Talkers avoid pressure because pressure demands action. It demands sacrifice. It demands consistency. Winners lean into it. They understand that pressure is not punishment, it's preparation. It sharpens focus. It builds resilience. It creates mental toughness that can't be taught, only earned. Diamonds don't form in comfort. They form under weight. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If your life feels too easy right now, you might not be growing. If nothing challenges you, nothing changes you. Growth requires friction. Strength requires resistance. Confidence requires facing things that scare you and doing them anyway. The life you dream about is locked behind the work you keep avoiding. Every time you choose the harder path, you upgrade yourself. Every time you stay when you want to leave, you build endurance. Every time you push through discomfort instead of escaping it, you expand your capacity. Slowly, quietly, you become someone stronger than your excuses. One day, people will call you lucky. They'll say you're gifted. They'll say it came naturally to you. They won't see the nights you fought your own comfort. They won't feel the pressure you carried in silence. They won't understand how many times you stood at the edge of quitting and chose to stay, chose to push, chose to grow, because comfort never created greatness, pressure did, and you decided to pay the price long before the reward showed up, step by step, rep by rep, moment by moment, until the discomfort that once scared you became the strength that now defines you. Listen carefully, because this is where most people get exposed. The difference between winners and talkers is not talent. It's consistency when nobody is watching. Everybody looks disciplined when motivation is high. Everybody talks big on day 1. But day 30, day 90, that's where the room gets empty. That's where the real story begins. Talkers rely on moods. Winners rely on habits. Talkers wait to feel ready. Winners move even when they feel tired, bored, unappreciated, and unseen. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't negotiate with your excuses. It shows up on time, every time, whether you're inspired or not. And that's why it works. Here's the truth people don't like to hear: motivation is emotional, and emotions are unstable. Some days you wake up excited. Some days you wake up heavy. Some days the world feels loud. Some days you feel invisible. If your progress depends on how you feel, your progress will always be inconsistent. Winners understand this early. They build systems, not emotions. They build routines that move them forward even on their worst days. Consistency is boring. It's repetitive. It's unglamorous. There's no applause for showing up daily. No one claps when you train alone, study alone, work alone, fail alone. That silence breaks most people. They want recognition before results. Winners flip that mindset. They chase results so loudly that recognition has no choice but to follow. Small actions done daily will always defeat big actions done occasionally. 1 hour every day beats 10 hours once a month. One disciplined decision repeated daily reshapes identity. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your habits. And if your habits are weak, your dreams don't stand a chance. Consistency builds trust with yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, you deposit confidence into your character. Every time you quit, you withdraw belief. Over time, winners become dangerous not because they're perfect, but because they trust themselves under pressure. They know they won't quit when it gets uncomfortable. This is why talkers stay stuck. They love potential, but avoid process. They love starting, but hate sustaining. Winners understand that success is rented, and rent is due every single day. Miss enough payments, and it gets taken back. If you want a different life, you need different daily behaviors. Not someday, not next month, today, right now. Discipline is not punishment, it's self-respect in action. It's choosing the future you want over the comfort you crave. And once discipline becomes your identity, quitting stops being an option, excuses lose their power, consistency becomes automatic, and results become inevitable. Because when everyone else stops, you keep going when it's quiet, when it's hard, when it doesn't feel rewarding. And that's exactly why before you scroll, pause for a second, because this point might hit harder than anything you've heard today. The habit that truly separates winners from talkers is what they do after the excitement dies. Anyone can feel motivated when the idea is fresh, when people are watching, when the comments are supportive. But the real test shows up later, when the claps stop, when nobody asks how it's going, when progress feels slow and invisible. Talkers fall in love with beginnings. Winners commit to the middle. The middle is lonely, repetitive, and uncomfortable. It's waking up on days when nothing seems to be working and still showing up. It's continuing when there's no proof yet, no validation, no guarantee. Most people quit here, not because they can't do it, but because it doesn't feel good anymore. Winners understand that feelings are temporary, but discipline compounds. Here's the truth nobody likes to say out loud. Success doesn't respond to hype, it responds to habits. You don't become powerful by talking about your plans. You become powerful by executing them quietly. Every day you choose action over explanation. You move closer to a life that no one can ignore. Winners don't announce their next move. They let their results introduce them. This habit is simple, but it's not easy. Do the work even when it feels boring, even when it feels pointless, even when it feels unfair. Because consistency is not built on inspiration, it's built on identity. Winners don't ask, do I feel like it today? They ask, who do I need to be today? And then they act accordingly. Talkers wait for perfect conditions. Winners adapt to imperfect ones. Talkers say, I'll start when things calm down. Winners start because things are chaotic. They understand that discipline creates clarity, not the other way around. And over time, those small daily actions stack so high that one day people call it luck, overnight success, or talent, never realizing how many lonely days it took to get there. If this message is hitting something real inside you, don't just listen, lock it in. Tap that like button, not for the algorithm, but as a promise to yourself that you won't quit when it gets uncomfortable. Share this with someone who keeps talking about changing their life, but hasn't started yet. And if you want more words that don't just motivate you for a moment, but push you to move differently every day, make sure you subscribe, because the content here isn't for talkers, it's for people who are ready to become consistent, disciplined, and unstoppable even when no one is watching